What's up, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. For those of you who are new, my name is Evan and I make videos about hot stocks, dividends, and options. So if that interests you guys, make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss when I upload. Now in today's video, we're going to cover some of the key takeaways from the earnings call last night. So if you guys haven't been keeping up with NIO, which I'm sure you guys have been, but earnings were actually released last night, and it was kind of shocking that NIO actually dropped quite a bit, and there was a lot of people selling off even before earnings were even announced. Now besides earnings, we're also going to cover one of the bigger banks that put out a new price prediction on NIO, and a couple other banks that had previous price predictions that actually increased theirs by quite a substantial amount. But looking at NIO today, they're down just 1% on the day, and they've actually recovered pretty nicely because at their low, NIO actually hit in the $42 range and they were down 8% on the day. And now they're pretty much not down at all, down just under 1%. And looking on the 1 week chart, NIO is still up almost 4% at 3.75%. But the reason why I said NIO actually dropped quite a bit is because they actually spiked up almost to $50 yesterday. And I believe this was in anticipation of earnings coming out. You can see this was just about 1 hour before the market closed. And then they pulled back all the way into the $42 range. So to go from $50 almost all the way into the $42 range, that's quite a big drop. And I think a lot of people, myself included, were expecting NIO to go up from earnings. Now we've seen in the past that NIO has dropped because earnings come out. But personally, I thought they would shoot up because of all these things that have been helping push the share price of NIO up. Now that could seem counterintuitive because NIO has been going up quite a bit, and we've seen all these new price forecasts and these catalysts pushing the share price of NIO upwards. So I'm sure that seems counterintuitive to think that they would go up from earnings even though they've been going up for the past couple months. But looking back on all these accomplishments NIO has had in the past quarter alone, it seemed like they would continue going up from earnings. Now, even though NIO dropped after hours and they dropped this morning as well, they've been pretty flat for the most part. Because if we actually look here yesterday on NIO, before they started creeping upwards in anticipation of earnings, they were trading around $46 most of yesterday. And now they're right around that same spot at $46 today. So they've traded pretty flat for the most part other than after hours and early this morning. And that was the one thing I didn't expect to happen because I thought they would either drop or they would increase by quite a bit. And they sort of did both. They increased anticipating earnings, but then they dropped after earnings came out. And now, of course, looking at the overall market today, the market isn't really down or up. They're down 0.17% at this current time. And at their peak, they were up 0.22%. So the market's really not doing anything today either, and that's probably a big influence on NIO, at least as of today. And on the 1 week, SPY is up 1.25%. So it's not been a bad week for the overall market, and it's really not been a bad week for NIO either. But now for those of you who didn't tune into earnings last night, we're going to go over some of the takeaways that happened last night and some of the things that could help push NIO's share price up even further in the future. Now, one of the biggest takeaways was actually NIO's competitive positioning, and their ES6, if you guys didn't know, has been one of the fastest selling electric SUVs in China, and this has been for 13 consecutive months. Now that's pretty huge for a company like NIO who is relatively new and they don't have a lot of history in terms of selling vehicles. They've really only been delivering a substantial amount of vehicles in the past few months. So the fact that they've been the fastest selling SUV for 13 consecutive months is pretty big for NIO. And on top of that, the ES8 is now the top selling premium electric SUV priced above $60,000 in China. So another one of NIO's vehicles entering into the top spot for electric vehicles. And NIO ranked first in JD Power's China New Energy Vehicle Experience in September. And another big thing for NIO was their margins actually. They said that their vehicle margin received a boost from favorable product mix, and they sold a lot more ES8s with a higher price than they were expecting. And on top of the ES8 selling with a higher price, their production cost actually declined by over $1,000 per vehicle, and this was because of the reduced battery pack costs. And so NIO isn't the only one benefiting from these reduced battery pack costs. The entire market has seen a cost reduction and a savings and more profit because of these cheaper batteries. So NIO is not the only one, but it definitely helps out NIO because they're not in the profit margins yet. A company like Tesla isn't going to be as affected as NIO because NIO is yet to become profitable, so this will help them get to that profit margin much sooner. Now we know Tesla's already in the profits and they're well beyond, so it does help Tesla, just not as drastically as it does a company like NIO or these other companies that are yet to break into the profit margin. Now NIO also talked about their battery as a service, and if you guys didn't know, that actually rolled out this previous quarter in quarter 3. And it basically allows customers to buy a NIO vehicle and they don't have to pay for the price of the battery pack as well. So they save about 20% on the initial cost of the vehicle, and then they lease the battery every month. And I believe they pay the equivalent of around $140 every month to lease this battery pack. But it says here, since the launch of the battery as a service, NIO said it has successfully closed the loop through vehicle battery separation, battery subscriptions, and chargeable, swappable, and upgradable battery solutions. And their new order intake actually broke NIO's projections and was at an all-time high in October, and this was all thanks to their battery as a service. And the pickup rate for the battery as a service actually reached 35% for the first half of November. Now obviously November is part of quarter 4, so we're going to have to wait until quarter 4 earnings come out to see the major effect of the battery as a service. But just what they've mentioned on how it has affected NIO in quarter 3, I think it's something that's really going to be successful and help put NIO up there among those top competitors. And NIO actually mentioned production capacity changes as well, and they actually plan to increase their production per month to 7,500 units. And they're planning on this happening in January of 2021. So that's in just 2 months. They want to go from 5,000 units per month up to 7,500. Now, if you guys didn't know, in October, NIO actually delivered over 5,000 vehicles, and I believe they delivered 5,055. So to go from that to 7,500 in just 2 months is pretty huge. Now, I know originally there was talk that NIO wanted to increase to 12,500 per month by early 2021, and that's still feasible. I don't know how soon that would happen because they're saying right here they want to increase capacity to 7,500 per month within the next 2 months. So I don't know how soon after that they would increase to 12,500, but that's definitely something to take into consideration and something to plan for into the future. If they do get up to that 12,500 per month, that would be equivalent to 150,000 vehicles per year. And if we compare that to the current run rate that NIO is delivering vehicles at, they're somewhere around 60,000 vehicles. Now that takes into consideration how many vehicles they're delivering right now, and you expand that out over the course of 1 year. So to go from 60,000 potential vehicles up to 150,000 would be very huge for NIO. Now another big thing that happened for NIO was in October, they actually released their Navigate on Pilot using a firmware over-the-air update. And this has really increased their competitiveness of their NIO Pilot. And there's going to be more details on the second generation of NIO Pilot shared on NIO Day, which is in January. NIO also mentioned that they're working on a second sedan model, and it's currently in the works. Now this is hopefully going to catch NIO up a little bit closer to Tesla, because right now with Tesla decreasing their prices, especially on the Model Y, NIO has to do something to keep themselves competitive, and so they are releasing a second sedan model, and there hasn't been a confirmation date or when deliveries will begin, but definitely something to watch out for and something to keep in mind with NIO going forward. And the last thing is that NIO actually plans to enter the global EV market in the second half of 2021. Now they're going to start by expanding to Europe, hopefully, and then after they expand to Europe and if they see success, they're likely going to start expanding to other continents and potentially over to North America. Now I don't know how soon that would happen, and we're going to have to just kind of wait and see what NIO is able to accomplish in the first half of 2021. And then from there, we'll be able to tell if NIO has the potential to expand into Europe by the end of 2021. But they said that they're going to stick to their users and price model, reaffirm their premium brand positioning, and localize service to suit the European customer needs. So they still have a lot of things going for them and a lot of things to push up their share price, especially in the next couple of years. Now, the last thing I wanted to cover was actually some new price predictions. Now, Bank of America actually put out a price prediction, and they increased their price from $23 up to $54.70. Now, this is part of the reason why I think NIO actually started increasing from that low around $42 earlier in the trading day. And I don't know if you can see it here. I don't actually have a CNBC Pro account. But in the bottom here, where the words start to fade away, it says that German bank that we mentioned before and JP Morgan actually hiked up their target on the stock Wednesday. and they both increased up to $50 from $34 and $46 respectively. So it's not only Bank of America coming out of nowhere and increasing their price up huge, because we're seeing two previous price forecasters and analysts increase their prices up to $50 as well. So again, going back to NIO, I think this is why they actually increased from that low today. And this is that low I was talking about, around that $42, $43 area. And you can see since then, NIO's just shot up pretty much all day. Now, for those of you who made it this far into the video, I want to know what your guys' plan is for NIO and how long you plan on holding NIO for. Now, I would expect most of you guys are long-term on NIO and you plan on holding for the next 5, 10, or possibly 20 years. But I know on the other hand, there's also people who are just jumping in for a quick profit. So let me know what your guys' strategy is down in the comments and how long you actually plan on holding your shares of NIO. And if you guys are open to it, if you guys wouldn't mind sharing your average share cost and how many shares you have down in the comments, I'm sure it kind of helps out a lot of people when they can see where other people are according to where they're at. So if you guys wouldn't mind sharing that, I think that would help out a lot of other investors who maybe think they have too high of a share price. Lastly, if you guys haven't signed up for Webull, make sure you sign up using the link in the description. When you sign up and deposit $100, you'll get 3 free stocks now. So make sure you guys sign up and get your free stocks before this promotion ends. Also, if you guys enjoyed the video, make sure you leave a like because it really does help out the channel. And with that said, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you back here in the next one. Bye.